going? So today on Big House Sport, we are here for another one of these draft-style videos where we're going through all 16 different NRL teams throughout this off-season, one per week, literally every single team, and with a different creator as well, who does usually support the team. Sometimes we have a creator that doesn't actually specifically support that team, but very fun series here. We've done a few already. We've got plenty more to go, so definitely hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new around here. But today, guys, we are doing the Parramatta Eels, the Parramatta Squeals, mate. Entertain House, the big fella.
Good to see you. Hope you're doing well and really looking forward to this. Been a while, so it'll be really good to collab and may the best team win.
Mate, may the best team win. I got my experience now. I have got my experience because this is a really interesting series for me, not just because I'm doing the Eels right now, who have a long here. I think they came in 48, or when did they come in? 49, 48?
47.
47. Oh, buddy, gee whiz, how close was I? You came in the same year as Manly, didn't you?
Yes, that's why we're rivals, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why you're rivals. I think it's a little bit more than just because you came in the same year, but yeah, it would be a big point. But I find this series so interesting because you're going through all the different players. I'm looking at all the players who used to play in the 80s as well, in the 70s and the 60s, and reminding me of the days of the 2000s with some real big boppers in the Eels. And I'm just loving looking at all the ex-past players. Did you have the same thing?
100%. So much nostalgia looking at that 2000 to 2010 period.
Absolutely.
Obviously didn't grow up in the 80s, but I've watched all the highlights of the last premierships that we've won on videos and stuff. So it's good exactly to go back and analyse it.
Yeah, well, look, exactly right, you know. But the thing that worries me with the Eels is that there are some positions that have not exactly the same amount of depth as other clubs, but then there are positions that have a ginormous amount of depth, and I'm just like, I want all of these players, but I can't get all of them. I really like the backline over the years for the Eels, but you know, we're going to get into it now. But the way this is going to go here, guys, basically we do a draft. So once someone selects a player, that person is off the board and the other team cannot have him. So say, for example, I took bloody Jared Hayden one, just for example, right? Because, just want to throw this out there, Hayden did win the coin flips. We do a coin flip beforehand with an online coin flipper. He chose heads. It was heads, but he decided to go second and third. So this is a snake draft where now I go first, and then he'll go second and third, then I'll go fourth and fifth, and he'll go sixth and seventh. So it goes 2 picks each. So that's how it's going to go here. But I do obviously get my first pick. Also, the thing that I have to mention here, guys, is that you can only select players from the Parramatta Eels history, and it has to be their relative form at the club. It doesn't matter if they've played a position in another club. You can kind of utilize that position here because they've shown they can play it, but it mainly is the form at the club. But for example, we're not using Jerome Hughes from the Titans to the Storm, or Jonathan Thurston from the Bulldogs to the Cowboys, James Maloney at the Storm onwards. So that's something that you do obviously have to take into account here. It has to be the form there. Another thing, just before we get in here, you need to also remember that these guys, whether you like them or not, there's a reason why they're getting selected right now. Whether they finish off their career bad or they had a rough start to their career and finished off well, not all players are just perfect the whole way through. And I'm going to use Darius Boyd as an example here for when we do use him in another video for the Dragons or Broncos or whatever. At one stage in his career, he was an unbelievable player, and then finished off becoming a meme. That's fine, but you've got to remember that we're taking them off their prime at the club. So there are a couple of players here as well that I think could be thought about. But are you ready to go, Mr. Hayden, Mr. Entertainer?
Oh, I'm ready to go. Hopefully I can make the boys proud. I hope it doesn't go like the A-League draft last year. Hope I'm much better at this one.
Gee whiz, mate. Gee whiz. But let everyone know where everyone can find you, man.
So, guys, I do have the YouTube channel, The Entertain House. I think I've also got the... what else have I got? TikTok recently, Entertain YT. We've reached 1,000 subscribers over there.
We do have another TikToker who is on this list for the Bulldogs, by the way.
Oh, there we go. Looking forward to it. Really looking forward to this whole series. Obviously, I haven't seen the other installments, but I will be watching them week by week, including this one. So, yeah, go and subscribe, guys. And I think we're on the road to 4K now.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, all right. So get him to 4K immediately. But now it's my turn, mate. I've got first pick. And I think you made a mistake. Might have been a bit of mind games at the beginning. Might have been, might not have. But I'm going to go with someone from a position that is, for me, very, very lackluster. I don't think that there's a lot of depth here. And I'm going to have to take one of the greatest players of all time in Peter Sterling at halfback.
All right.
I think that's just a no-brainer there.
The board.
I think it's a no-brainer.
Fantastic player.
So you're up for pick 2 and 3, mate.
All right. Well, we are going to go with, look, I think it's pretty crucial to take a hooker. I think there isn't too many hookers in Parramatta's time. It came down to three between me.
Yeah.
There is one older one versus one newer one, so it makes it pretty hard. I reckon you're going to take the older one. I'm going to go with the newer one. I'm going to take Daniel Mortimer here, premiership winner.
You're taking
with
Danny
the Sydney
Mortimer?
Roosters as well. I'm going to go Daniel Mortimer as my second pick to fill that hooker position.
Yeah, well,
And then as for the other position, I think it's pretty crucial to pick someone within our forwards. There's plenty of backs to come and talk about later.
Yep.
And I think I'm going to go the front row, Nathan Kalis from the Eels.
Nathan Chaos, that's a good selection. For me, man, I'm not going to lie to you. I actually didn't have Daniel Mortimer on my board here. I do have 4 hookers, but I didn't have Daniel Mortimer on my board. But so you're putting Nathan Chaos in the front row or the back row?
Nathan Kalis in the front row.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, he's a big bopper there, man. He's a big bopper there. Alrighty, so he's got his front row there, and he's also got his number 9. Now, I think you've made another mistake. Because I'm going to take my halves pairing here now, and I'm going to take, because I've got Peter Sterling, I'm taking Brett Kenny, mate. When you guys won your premierships back in the 80s, these guys were the focal points. These guys were the guys. These were the guys when the last time Parramatta were relevant. I'm going to say that, Parramatta fans, I'm sorry. Look, I'm not really, but I'm sorry without the sorry part. And now I've got my next pick. So I've got my Arsenal. Gee whiz. I could have gone a different option there. I really could have gone a different option. But I think the forwards I'm pretty happy to leave for the time being. I know you're not going to take my utility. I will say this for a fact that I know you're not going to take my utilities. I'm going to leave him for very, very later. And then again, you threw me out with a Daniel Mortimer pick. I'm going to have to take Nathan Hindmarsh in the second row. I'm going to have to take Nathan Hindmarsh. Man, 300. How many games did he play? Like 300 and buddy 400.
Yeah, most capped Eels player. It was 300 and something. Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous, mate. Like Nathan Hindmarsh, if there's a player at your club that I've loved, and no matter what, it's always been. I think everyone loves Nathan Hindmarsh behind him.
100% fantastic choice. Well, we've both got some old, I've got more newies. You've picked some old boys, so I'm going to go back to the old boys here. Yep. Could be a surprise pick, but I'm going to go Parramatta wing number 2. I'm going to go Eric Grothe Senior.
That's a great choice, mate. I was looking at the highlights of him last night. I know Eric Grothe Senior, but I was looking at highlights of him last night when I was doing this preparation, and I tell you what, man, that guy was just ridiculous. He was an absolute beast, man. That's a great selection.
Fantastic. Do I get second pick here as well?
You do get another pick here, mate.
Okay. Well, let's go with an old one. I'm actually going to go with someone who I'm pretty sure back in the day he created what is now known as the bomb. You've taken Brett Kenny, so I'm going to go with John Piard here. John Piard or Piard. I'm going to go with John Piard as my Eels 5'8".
A 5'8", there we go. John Piard. Alrighty, there we go. I was thinking he might have gone a bit of Jimmy Dymock there, but he's gone John Piard. John Piard. Alrighty, so now I'm up for a couple here. I'm up for a couple here, and I could really get something strong going here, and I could really twist a few, buddy. I could really twist a bit of a knife right now, to be honest with you. Because I'm not even, I've got Hindmarsh. I'm pretty happy with him leading the forwards right now, because I'm pretty happy with a couple of you forwards that you've actually got kind of nowadays as well, mind you. I think you've got some pretty decent second rows and front rows that are very recent. And I usually like going to the olden days for the, forwards because I think they're just grindy, they're big time lads. But I'm going to take an absolute duo here. I'm going to take a duo. So first off the board, I'm going to take Ken Thornett in the fullback role. And that's going to throw you out because I know you thought that I was going to go Jared Hayne, didn't you?
I did. I'm not going to lie.
Well, guess what? That's because I'm putting him on my wing, mate. So I'm taking Ken Thornett and I'm putting Jared Hayne onto the wing.
I don't have a fullback now.
Well, there's a couple there, but that's a good one. I knew when I was just like, that's a big time. Because I think Jared Hayne actually, I know that he's more known for his fullback days, but I actually think he was one of your best wingers ever.
He was a fantastic winger. I think in Sterlo's draft of all-time picks just last year, I think he put very similar. I think Ken Thornett at the fullback and then put Jared Hayne in the wing instead.
We have the Ken Thornett medal as well, don't you?
Pardon?
I think there is the Ken Thornett medal, which is like one of your most prestigious medals at the club, isn't it?
We do a yearly medal, and there's also the Ken Thornett stand at Bankwest Stadium.
Hey, how good is those two picks? I'll take that. I will take a bit of Kenny Thornett and Jared
I'm
Hayne.
going to have to come back later to that fullback position because you've thrown me off guard. Look, you know what? You've thrown some big bangers here. You've picked plenty of winners from that 80s side. So I'm going to pick a winner, not a player. I'm going to pick my coach, Jack Gibson from.
Oh, that's a great pick. Yeah,
Eagles.
that is a great pick. Like I'm still happy with the other coach I've got here, but Jack Gibson's one of the greatest coaches of all time across any team. So that's a fantastic pick.
Oh, I do have a second pick here. I almost forgot. Okay, so look, I think
I can go if you want. If you want me to go now, I can go if you want.
I don't think so.
All right.
Let's go with. I think I've probably got to focus on the forwards right now. And look, let's go with Fui Fui Moi Moi in the front row, partnering with Nathan Kalis. They had those combinations games together, 2009 finals side as well. So I'm going to go Fui Fui there.
Mate, you cannot complain with Fui Fui Moi Moi, one of the cult heroes of all cult heroes. Absolutely. I'm pretty certain you've still got another front. Sorry, both your front rows are gone, but you still have your bench and stuff like that. So I do have to still be careful here because I know I've got a better back line right now shaping up, but you've got a better forward line right now shaping up. And I find that I'm having this a lot with a lot of my what's it called drafts so far is that I really focus on those back line a bit too much early days. But like it's so juicy that I could take the two best centers off the board here too, and there is no way you could beat my backline if I take these two centers off. There's absolutely no way. You know what? I'm going to have to take one of them. I'm not going to take both of them because I do need to go and get my front row, my big bopper. But I am going to take the one, the only Nick Cronin. That he is one of the best centers to ever play the game in general, and definitely for me the best center that you guys have ever had. The thing is, man, is that there's still literally 5 more. Like I said, I'm happy with genuinely anyone in the back line. I'm pretty certain that my back line is looking pretty crazy right now, but I'm happy with any of these backups. Well, not backups, anyone else here. So I'm going to move to the front row. I'm going to take Bob O'Reilly. I'm going to take Bobby O'Reilly here. Best front row forward you've ever had. I love Kalis and Fui Moi Moi. My number one was Bob O'Reilly, but then second and third was Kalis and Fui Moi Moi. So you did take those two.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go to our wing here. Yep. And look, I feel pretty cruel for doing this because you are from Fiji, but Tosaviki, Semi Radrada, absolute phenomenon for the Parramatta Eels, killing it over in the rugby union still. Big Semi on the wing, partnered on the other side with Eric Grove Senior. I really like the look of that combination.
I will say, just before we get into your next pick on Semi, I will say this. I always say that I think he would have become the best winger of all time in the NRL if he had kept playing in the NRL. I've always said that.
Okay, interesting. He had the speed about him, so he probably could.
And the speed, he had the strength, he had the bloody Fiji and Tosaviki.
And let's go more recent times here because there is, as we've mentioned, the issues with the forwards, but we need someone who's going to offload the balls to our quick players. So look, I'm going to take Junior Paulo. He's played with Parramatta for quite a while now.
Are you putting him on the bench?
Multiple times.
Or are you putting him in second row?
I'm going to put him in the front row.
Oh, you've got Kalis and Fui Fui Moi Moi in the front row.
Oh, okay. I'm going to have to put him on the bench then. Let's put him on the bench.
That's fine. Like, doing the bench early is still good, man, because it stops me from being able to get him, obviously.
Yep.
Junior Paulo. I'm just writing this one down. So there you go. Junior Paulo and Semi Radrada. My goodness, mate. That wing pairing is just filthy right now. It's filthy. So I don't need to go for a wing right now because you won't go for a wing. So I can leave there because you've already got a wing. If you put a wing in number 14, that's fine. Or to be fair, I could do something pretty filthy here. I could actually do something pretty filthy and grab my utility. But then again, yeah, you know what? This man, he played literally everything for you. He played wing, he played centre, he played fullback, he played. I think he might even played a bit in the halves. Is
this my favourite player from the Eels of all time?
Luke Burt.
Yeah. And it was my backup fullback as well, ahead of Ken Thornett and Jared Hayne. I've been destroyed here. He's my favourite Eel of all time. I know there's so much success in that 80s, and there's so much depth of Brett Kenny, Sterlo, Mick Cronin, so much to love. But Luke Burt, for me, just stands out as my childhood hero for the NRL.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's one of the best Eels players of all time. But the thing is, I'm not putting him on the wing. I'm not putting him in the starting lineup. I'm going to have somebody else there. I'm happy to put Luke Burt in the 14 because he can literally, like I said, he did play in the halves at some point, didn't he?
I think he may have. He definitely played fullback, definitely played centre wing.
I definitely think he could have played in the halves, even if he didn't. But I'm pretty certain he might have played like a 6 at some stage. I don't think he would have been a 7. I think he probably would have been a 6 at some stage. But and again, you guys in the comment section can let me know. But either way, happy to have a wing, centre, fullback as a 14, and Luke Burt, which is unbelievable. And it's good that you have such positive thoughts about my team there, Hayden. Yeah, it's good. But now I've got. Do I have one more pick?
Yes.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So I can still leave that wing spot. You don't have any centres right now still. You don't have any centres. Hello. There is someone there. I've got to lock it up, mate. I've got to lock up the best back line that you could possibly. I think this is nearly the best back line that you could ever do for the Eels. And I'm going to lock up Steve Ella here. I've got to lock up Steve Ella here in the centres. So I got Mick Cronin, Steve Ella in the centres. Wowee. Ken Thornett, Mick Cronin, Steve Ella, Jared Hayne, Brett Kennedy, Peter Sterling, and still one more backline position. That is ridiculous. That's stupid.
Pretty unstoppable.
That's stupid good. But you're up for 2 picks.
Well, you keep taking those 80s players, so I'm going to steal one off you here. I'm going to lock it up literally and take Ray Price in that lock position. I think really important to have him in the side. So we'll take Ray Price there at lock.
Yep.
And let's go with... So I haven't had a centre, have I?
Yeah, I haven't.
It's a cross between 2, both more recent. Obviously, the old ones have been taken, the premiership winning boys. But someone I think who's played with multiple clubs, but he did really stand out for me at Parramatta. I miss him at the club.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to take Michael Jennings here. In his prime, back in the day, Michael Jennings was a fantastic centre, not just for Penrith and not just for Roosters, but also for Parramatta. So let's go Michael Jennings in the centres.
He was my third centre off the board. He was my third. So if you had taken one of Cronin or Steve Ella, I would have taken Jennings.
I think Michael Jennings, if I'm not wrong, could also be in the top 10 tries scored of all time for the Eels.
Probably. He scored a lot of tries.
Yeah.
Like he did. I think people more so recognise him for his Panthers days, but like obviously he did come to the Eels and might have not finished off as well as he would liked, but he was very good when he was good. He was very good. And also on that Ray Price selection, he was my number 113. He was my number 1 for the locks. That's a good selection there. But my question would have been to you, is that why do you go for a centre when I've already got 2 centres?
Don't know, I've already gotten one of the bench spot, picked my coach. I'm still struggling to come up with that fullback.
You didn't want to take, you didn't want to take someone like a Tim Manor or, you didn't want to take a Brian Hambley?
I mean, maybe I'll be taking Tim Manor later. We'll have to wait and see, but it looks like you might be.
No, I'm going to take Brian Hambley, mate. I'm going to take Brian Hambley. I'm going to put him alongside Bob O'Reilly. Obviously, yeah, look, I could take Timmy Manor here, but I think that'd be a little bit too early. I think we could probably get him a little bit later on, so I'm going to leave him for the time being. If you want to take him now, you can take him early all you like, big boy. So you're up for 2
Look,
picks.
I still haven't come up with a halfback, so I think I've still got to come up with this fullback. This is killing me because I don't want to take Clint Gutherson. and
I'm going to tell you something just before you go into this. I don't know if the Tigers one's come out yet. I don't know if the Tigers one has come out yet, but I did it with Alpha, and he's a Tigers fan, and basically he was. This is kind of ruining it a tad, but in the same sense, we all know who would have come off early, and I got him. But he came down to thinking whether he wanted to take Luke Brooks or not, because there was really no depth. And I was like, man, you may as well do it for the meme, because I reckon people would vote for his team just for the meme of Luke Brooks. And I feel like that's similar here with Clint Gutherson, but I wouldn't advise doing it right this second.
I feel like I've got no choice. I know plenty of people have played the role, but I think he's a workhorse for the side. We haven't obviously won a premiership under him when there's been that expectation there. Hayne, Burt, Thornett gone. Look, I think I'm going to take Clint Gutherson as my Eels fullback.
I want to say this for all the Eels fans out there. Everyone thinks, or all Eels fans, everyone else can see what I'm talking about, but all Eels fans seem to think that I hate him. I do not hate Clint Gutherson. Absolutely not. I think he's a very solid player. I think he is one of the better fullbacks in the game. However, we've got a lot of fullbacks nowadays, a lot of really significant fullbacks. And the way the game is going, you have to be pacey, you have to have crazy energy, you have to have crazy agility, move around, just moving and grooving. And for me, Gutherson is I think he would have done well if he had a bit more body structure, I guess. But I think he would have done well in the 2000s, really well. I think Gutherson would have been a really good fullback in the 2000s because it wasn't all about the speed. And nowadays, you've got the speed of your Tomi Trbojevic, your Pappenhausen, your Tedesco and whatnot. So I actually really do rate Gutherson for individual aspects that aren't something that I would prefer in a fullback nowadays, but he's a fantastic fullback nonetheless.
All right, we'll take Gutherson there, and then let's go to. I feel like I can save my halfback for a while, so
Just like
let's go to the back row. There's two options. One's a big fella. The other one would be great as a utility later on. So look, I'm going to take Manu Ma'u.
Yeah,
Manu Ma'u in the back row for the Eels.
In the back row, so you're going to have him starting?
Yeah, let's have him starting. I don't think I've had any of the back row selections yet. Am I right?
You haven't. Yeah. No, you haven't. So you've got your forwards of Nathan Kalis, Mortimer in the 9, Fuifui Moimoi, Manu Ma'u now, and Ray Price. And I had Manu Ma'u there, but I had him in number 7 simply because I would have personally brought him off the bench, especially in nowadays the way, because you've got to kind of imagine that this team's playing relatively now. I know it's tough, but in the same sense, I guess that's how everyone else sees it. But I think Manu Ma'u was one of the best forwards that the Eels have seen, but he just was there in a tough time as well. When you guys obviously he was there with the wooden spoons right in the 2010s.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he was there the whole time.
But I still thought he was great. I still thought he was great throughout that period. So I think he was one of the better selections there from that time. But I do have to. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna go to my second row here. And I'm going to take the Thornett brothers. I'm going to take Dick Thornett here. I'm going to take Dick Thornett. He was my third off the board. I had Highmarsh, then Kalis, and then I had Dick Thornett. So these guys pulled through. Like these guys were the epitome of the Eels back in the early days. And truly, I'm so glad that I've got both of those guys because they were the early foundations of this Parramatta Eels squad when they were so successful back in the 80s. And I think they were successful in the 70s, but they weren't getting premierships like they got the 4 premierships in the 80s. So was Dick Thornett and Ken Thornett there in that time? Was they the 80s or were they earlier?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Not sure. But anyway, they're bloody fantastic. Put it that way. But now I have still got my number 9 and to be fair, you do still have a utility role available. But then again, you've taken Daniel Mortimer. I don't think you've got any of my hookers here. I think you've overlooked them. Because I've got 4 there. You know what? You've already got your wings. That's fine. You still need another centre, but I can't. Damn it! I could have taken him. That would have been good. Oh, you know what? I'm actually going to go to my number 13 here. I'm going to take Jim Dimmock. I'm going to take Jimmy Dimmock here. I think that's a fantastic selection so far down the table. He could honestly play in second row, front row forward, or lock, but he was one of your better locks in your time. I do have Daniel Wagon above him, but Jim Dimmock, I think he has a name that's probably more receptive with people watching this video who may not know the olden days. So I think that because they've got such quality between them, I think Jim Dimmock is more represented recently anyway.
All right, I'm going to go... I think I'm going to pick another bench pick here. I think this is someone who you've mentioned that you've got 4 selections at hooker. Yeah. And I think one of our best hooker, I'm going to put him in that 14 row. I'm going to go with Steve Edge.
Steve Edge, yeah, definitely.
It was definitely on the bench in that 14.
Absolutely. Steve Edge, you chuck him in there. Beautiful. I reckon he could play a bit of back row as well. So he's not only
definitely could be some depth. As for the other position... So I've got Manu Ma'u in the back row.
Yep.
We'll stay away from that for now. I've done my wingers. I've got 1 centre left. Have I done? No, you took Mick Cronin. Yeah. So okay, I'm going to go to Mana Tahu in the centres. Let's go to Mana Tahu in the centres.
Tahu in the centres. He was there for me. He was absolutely there. He was also, I had him as a potential winger as well, but I think that you've had I think winger is the biggest depth the Parramatta Eels have ever had. I think that the one place that I can say that Parramatta have always had a quality player in, it's always at the wing position. Because I had, now that they've all gone, I've still got one to pick actually. I'm going to leave it for now, actually. I'll leave it for now. But basically, I'm going to take, at some point, I'm going to take Eric Grove Jr., but not now because I don't need to. But like there is such a surplus there in the back line. Jamie Lyon was there too, by the way. Chris and Neville Glover. By the way, Brett Hodgson and Clinton Shivkowski could have been one of your fullbacks, mind
I
you.
only met Neville Glover fairly recently. I think it was after the Bulldogs game this year. It was great to meet him, have a chat.
There you go. There you go. But I'm going to take someone here that I think, because I know you like your newer players too, I'm going to take a very new player here. Very new player. I'm going to take a very new player here off the bench. And his name is Isaiah Papali'i. I'm going to take Isaiah Papali'i off the board here. The reason being is since coming to the Eels, he has now been known as one of the better back rowers in the competition. He is a barnstormer. And it's very short time period, but the same fact is his form at the club this year has been stupid. It's been stupid good. And like the fact that he's being compared up there with David Feeder and William Kikau and already taken over, arguably Kikau, in regards to some fans. And truly, man, I think Isaiah Papali'i off the bench is just ridiculous to be able to lock up. But I understand why he's dropped down here, but I think that's a great selection. What do you think?
Oh, fantastic selection. He's had a fantastic year, been a revelation for the club. Crazy to think that he was playing 9 at the Warriors and now he's bulked up in the off-season and just...
And I think he's on a really small contract too. Like, I think he's about to really grab a nice chunky pay rise.
I think Sivo was similar. He was on small contract and proved that he was worth the money in his breakout season. And I think it was up to around maybe... I think it was 200,000 and I think it was upgraded to around 500,000. So I think that could be similar with Isaiah, but I think he's worth about 700K a season.
Yeah, he's definitely up there. Alrighty, so now I've still got one more selection here and I'm going to take off my bench Timmy Manor.
Oh, I was just about to take him. All right.
I knew it was that time. It was that time where I was like, there's no way I'm going to get through one more selection here without having to take Tim Manor because I knew you were going to get him next. So I had to take him and he's Gonski. So you've still got your 7, 12, 16, and 17 to go.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go... See, there's a cross between two players. Both of them play with multiple clubs as well, but I think they had great seasons with Parramatta when they were with them.
Yep.
I think one thing that's missing from my team, if I'm not mistaken, is goal kicking.
Okay.
So I know that this player can kick goals. I'm going to take T-Rex. I'm going to take Tony Williams from to the back row.
You're taking Tony, the big dog T-Dog.
I'm going to take the big T-Dog. I've seen him kick some goals, seen him have some good runs. Think he was a good player in his prime. I think lately and the last couple of years of his is forgettable, but I think in his prime he was good. I think he may still be playing in the Super League, but I don't think he's playing anymore.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I remember he stays mainly for I'm thinking of the right Tony Williams here, the doggies Tony Williams when he was there before he went to the Eels.
Well, yeah, and I think of him in Manly as well. He was also the Sea Eagles for a while.
He was also there. Yeah, he went through a couple of clubs there. No, look, I personally wouldn't have taken him, but in the same sense, like, truly, he definitely was a good player in spurts. And with what we're definitely taking those spurts. So I didn't realise that Tony Williams was kicking, though. I didn't realise he was a kicker.
Yeah, I've seen him kick some goals. I think in the 2018 and 17 season, he was kicking for us at some point. So
fair enough. I think you still have one more pick, if I'm not mistaken.
I do have one more pick, and I am going to go with having a look at what I've got left here because I don't have too much written down. But I've only got 2 positions left anyway, I think.
You've got halfback, you've got 16, 17. So you 2 benchies and a halfback.
Okay.
I definitely know who I'd be going here in halfback if I was you.
I mean, I've got my halfback. Have you already picked yours? You picked Sterling.
No, you haven't got your halfback.
No, or you've got Sterling. All right, I'm going to take Jason Taylor.
You can take Jason Taylor? Yep, absolutely.
Jason Taylor at halfback. Yep. Second best choice.
By the way, I wasn't telling you to take halfback just then. I was just saying, like, I know who you should take at halfback when you do take him.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want you to take him off the bench, so.
I want to ask you, I wouldn't. I've already taken my 14. So when you get to this point, you've got to realise that 14 is where the utility is, and then 15, 16, 17, I'm just going to bolster a forward. So I would never have done that. But I will say this. I want to ask you a question. What would you have said if you had to use Chris Sandow? Do you think he was good for your club, or was he more so for the Rabbit? He was more so for the Rabbitohs, to be fair.
I think more. You think of him more for the Rabbits. I remember him playing at the club.
I think he had good moments at the Eels, though, didn't he?
He had some great moments, but in regards to the overall success, I'm just not sure. I think he might have gotten the Player of the Year, that medal, at one point in his career, but I think Jason Taylor just beats him a little bit.
Yeah, fair enough. No, absolutely. I've got him too, and then I had Sandow 3, just in case that I kind of felt, but I just have that.
So you had Jason Taylor second?
Jason Taylor second. I had, obviously, Peter Sterling was always first, though. Peter Sterling is easily number one there. So now I've still got my 17 hooker, winger, and coach. So you've still got... The thing is that you've left your 2, 16, and 17 here, so I know you're going to go forwards there. I'm very well aware you're going to go forward. So that means that I don't need to... I'm going to go forward here first, just to make sure that I get him off the board. I already took Jimmy Diamond, so let's take that off there. I'm going to take, in my 17 here, you know what? There is a couple of guys that I could take, but I'm going to take Peter Wynn. I'm going to take Peter Wynn.
Okay.
Peter Wynn's score, mate. Get around it. I think he was actually a part of a couple of the championship winning teams too, actually. So I think that I could have taken another one that I think people know as well, but Peter Wynn was just unbelievable, man. And truly, I think very underrated. I think very underrated too. But now I could, you know what? I'll take my 9. I'm going to leave my wing just to last, just because it's probably the most interesting. Oh, well, actually, I've already told you guys who I'm going to take. I'll take Eric Rhodes Jr. Eric Rhodes Jr. You took senior. I'll take junior. I was surprised you didn't take junior and senior at the same time. I was. I know Semi Radradra was actually number 1 for me, but that was because Dos was with you. And then I had Eric Rose Senior. I think I would normally have senior first, as in, like, I think he was your best winger of all time. And then I think I would normally have junior probably... I'd probably have him third behind... I actually probably have both the junior and senior as your best wingers of all time. Would you disagree?
Nah.
I think Sammy Radradra is definitely... No, I've got him number 1 now, but I definitely would have him top 3. But I think you could argue between Radradra and Junior. But I think that Junior was there for longer. But Radradra, if he plays there for his entire career, like I said, I think he becomes the best winger in any team ever. I think he could be one of the best wingers to play the game.
Still got another pick, or am I
think you're up here for your final 2 picks, if I'm not mistaken. I took Eric Growth and Peter Wynn, so you're up for your final 2 picks.
Okay, well, I need forwards, obviously, for that bench spots, but works out kind of good. I think I've got 3 names here, so I'm going to narrow it down to 2. Let me just make sure 1... Or I may only have 2. No, I have got 3. Crossing between 1. 1 played with multiple clubs, I think is more known for another club. I'm going to leave him alone. I'm going to go back to the 80s days. I'm going to take Stan Jur. Not sure if everyone knows the name. Fantastic player.
I'm not actually sure
the day, though. Not sure?
No, Stan Jur. I'll definitely go on.
Nickname of Plunkett.
Like, the thing is, man, is that after I do this series, I like going back and having a look at some of the players that I wasn't really aware of, like John Piard. I wasn't really aware of him. And definitely Stan Jur. I'll definitely go and have a look.
And then as for that final spot, I've got a really nice lock in Ray Price, but let's go with a lock bench forward to replace in the forwards. I'm going to go with Daniel Wagon.
Yeah. Are you taking him because I mentioned him before, or did you have him on your list?
No, I had Daniel Wagon on my list.
Yeah. Well, I mouthed to the camera saying I knew you were going to take Daniel Wagon. As soon as he said locks, I was like, oh, that's the 2 best. Like, I had Ray Price 1 and Daniel Wagon 2. You've taken Ray Price, but I decided to take Jim Dimmick because I think that Jim Dimmick can play not only in the lock, but he can also play back row, a bit of front row, and he's a bit all over the shop, and I love it. So I like those kind of players you can mix around. But that was my top 2 there. But I think I reached a little bit, but I will be happy to take it. So now my number 9. Now I've got Ronnie Hiddich there. I've got PJ Marsh, and I've got John Morris too. But I'm going to take Ron Hiddich. I'm going to take Ron Hiddich here. PJ Marsh was very good, but also it was very good at the Warriors too. And I know that because of the Warriors draft that I did. But Ron Hiddich is a very underrated number 9. Now, for me, man, I don't think the 9 is I think we might have said this already. The 9 is my least favourite position at Parramatta. They've never been able to find that real solid 9 that gets the team going. I think it's always been... Would you disagree with that?
I think you're pretty on the board there. I had John Morris and Matt Keating as my two other choices,
Yeah.
besides Steve Edge and Daniel Mortimer. Reed's been great. He's been a revelation for our club.
He's
If
been
under
great,
more
but
game time, yeah.
he's been great. He's very young though, but like
Mm.
in the same sense, do you see him becoming a guy that we easily go, he's number one?
I don't think number one, and I don't think maybe that top five that we've currently got. I can 100% see him, or I could see him squeezing into the top five. If he continues with the consistency and does get that opportunity to play Origin as well, gets those titles with Queensland, representative footy, he has a big future in that 9 jersey, and it could be something that's talked about for years to come.
To be fair, you know who I think could have been actually taken in the 9-2? I've still got my coach to come here, by the way, guys, but and start thinking of a team name while I'm doing this. But, you know, for me, I actually think Nathan Peats is a bit rough to miss out here in the number 9. I think he was very good for you guys and obviously played for New South Wales before he went to the Titans, where he was a little bit lackluster. He wasn't his Eels form, but I remember when people were really talking about Nathan Peats at the Eels. He scored for 8 tries in 35 games through 2014-16. Now, I know that was a really tough time for Parramatta fans, but I think the Peats was unlucky to miss out here. I have to take my coach here, and this is my final spot. Now, you've got the best of all time, a premiership winning coach who literally won all 3 times in his 3 years that he was at the club. And this was obviously the only time Parramatta Eels have obviously won a premiership, but they have won 4 in that 10-year span. They have won 4, not just 3. And another one does go to John Mooney. John Mooney. Now, John Mooney had 57% win percentage with 86 wins and 62 losses. Now, he was actually there for longer than Jack Gibson. Now, he won the premiership in 1986. He was runner-up in 1984. Was also the minor premiers in 1986 and didn't get a wooden spoon, which is something the Parramatta have gotten quite a bit in their history. So, and I'm not insulting. Parramatta fans always think I'm insulting them, but I'm not insulting them. I'm just saying he doesn't have a wooden spoon. So that's fantastic there. I think that he's definitely the second best here. There is Terry Fernley, who was 1976 and 77 runners-up and minor premiers in 77. He never got an elusive gold medal, basically, of winning the premiership. So John Mooney has to be my big hold. Coach Aruna there. So what do you think? What do you think of that? Do you disagree with that one?
No, I think you've made a good point. I had one of my second picks as Norm Probyn, not just because, and I think it's arguable because he had the over 50% win record in 27 games, which is average, but just what he brought to the game as well and what he could have taught players, especially these type of teams. So that was another pick I had.
Well, yeah, at least he had over 50%, a 50% win rate. He had a 51.9% here with 14 wins and 12 losses, but just never was minor premiers, or premiership. But, you know, I don't want to talk about some of these ones down the bottom here, man. Gee whiz. Buddy Jack Rayner, my goodness me, he's not had a good time. He has not had a good time. Do you want me to read out to you what Jack Rayner's record was?
I reckon it's around that.
He was
16%.
He was there for 54 games. He won 7 and lost 47 with a winning percentage of 13%, and he won 3 wooden spoons in 58, 59, 60.
No good.
That's a madness. that is crazy, mate. But I'm not here to insult him. I'm just here to say, wowee. And he's not actually the worst winning percentage, by the way. There was Ken Slattery in 57 who had 2 wins and 16 losses for 11.1% and 1 wooden spoon, 67. That is, you're in a bit of a situation there if you were supporting the Parramatta Eels in the 50s and 60s. But let's run through our teams here, man. So you can go first here, run through your team, and let me know what your team name is as well. Basically, Hayden didn't really write it down in order, so I'll go through both of our teams here. So for EH, what's your team name? What's your team name?
You know what? Someone whose pants really like to fall down for our club who you took, I'm going to make a joke here and say that my team is stronger than Nathan Highmarsh's pants. That's going to be my team name.
Stronger than Heine's pants or stronger than Hindmarsh's
Stronger than Heine's pants, yep.
Yeah, because people understand. Yeah, otherwise it's just so long. So this is EH's stronger than Hindy's pants. He's got in the number 1, Clint Gutherson. Number 2 is Eric Groth Sr. with Semi Radaraja. Gee whiz, what a wing pair in there. Michael Jennings and Tamana Tahu in the centres with John Piard and Jason Taylor in the halves. Nathan Kalis with Fui Fui Moi Moi as the front row forwards there. Daniel Mortimer in the number 9. Manu Ma'u, Tony Williams in the back row with Ray Price as the lock. We move into the bench, Steve Edge as the utility there. Junior Paulo, Stan Jur and Daniel Wagon in the 15, 16, 17 with coach Jack Gibson, mate. Gee whiz, Jackie Gibson leading them. Actually, who's your captain and who's your kicker?
Okay. I mean, Gutho, for some reason, he knows how to goal kick. I wish I could have Luke Burke. I love him as goal kicking. You've got him. So, look, I'll go Gutherson for goal kicking.
Yep.
As for the captain, I think I'm going to go with Ray Price.
Ray Price. All right, yeah, fair enough. Big bopper in the number 13. Jeez, I've got something really itchy, like right there. Like it's really annoying when you've got like headset on it. Right there. All right. So, and Ray Price as your captain. I'm going to do co-captains here, man. I'm going to do co-captains. One is obviously going to be Nathan Hindmarsh. There's no doubt about that. And I'm also going to take Peter Sterling as my. I like having, and I say this all the time, I love having a captain in the backs and a captain in the forwards. And there's no way you can get around that. And honestly, you could look at Kenny, but I think I'd definitely go with Peter Sterling there. But here we go. This is BKR's blue and gold battlers here, baby. Blue and gold battlers. In number 1, we have Kenny Thornett. In the wings, we have Eric Grove Jr. and Jared Hayne. Mick Cronin and Steve Ella finishing off the back line there. Brett Kenny alongside Peter Sterling. Oh my goodness me, is the half pairing there with Bob O'Reilly and Brian Hambley in the front row. Ron Hidditch as the number 9 with Nathan Hindmarsh, Dick Thornett and Jim Dimmick as the back row there, and Jim Dimmick being number 13. Luke Burt, utility. My goodness me, what a position. Isaiah Papali'i, new man on the board, and with Tim Manor and Peter Wynn to get some of that older generation forward grunt going there. And obviously the coach is John Mooney. But who's going to be my kicker? I think it's Mick Cronin. I think Mick Cronin's kicked the most kicks for you guys, actually. Let me go make sure of this. I think Mick Cronin is your best kicker. I know obviously Luke Burt kicked for you, but I'm pretty certain that Mick Cronin has got the most goals in your history. He does. Mick Cronin, then Luke Burt, and then funnily enough, Mitchell Moses, mate. So I'm going to have Mick Cronin as my kicker. What do you think of the teams we've got there? What's the positives and negatives you think of my team?
I can't think of many negatives, to be honest. I think it's a really, really solid team. I don't know how to think of negatives. I mean, I guess you could say Jared Hayne not being at fullback in his main position, not being, but then again, fantastic on the wings. So
played for New South Wales and I think Australia on the wing too.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that's all right. But yeah, I think that I think your front. Oh, to be fair, my front row forward's pretty good. I think that with your team, man, Clint Governson is a very solid player that can organise it from the back, which is great. And I do like your winger pairing. I love your wing pairing. Like I've got Jared Hayne and Eric Grove Jr. there, but Eric Grove Senior with Semi Radradra. Like I said, man, I've probably got Semi Radradra and Derek Grove Senior as probably my 2 best wingers for the club ever. So I think you did it nicely there. I think you're 13, brilliant, Ray Price. That is fantastic positioning there. And obviously you've got the best coach in the damn well business. And I love Junior Paulo coming off the bench too. It's actually good. I feel like that you've taken him off the bench rather than starting him. I think that the ability that he'll have just running that ball back and just not giving a shit will be fantastic. But that is going to do it for today, guys. That's done for the Parramatta Eels draft here. Where can everyone find you, man? Let them know again what you do and then where they can find you.
Yeah, guys. So during the off season, I've been making a few little NRL videos, and during the season, when I get to go to games, obviously make the game day vlogs like my good friend BKR does. Can't wait to see some vlogs together.
I wish it was like me. I haven't been able to do one for like 3, 4, 5, 700 months now.
Well, hopefully you get to go to Queensland or Melbourne or something in the new year. But guys, Entertain House over on YouTube, Entertain YT over on TikTok. So yeah, give us a follow, subscribe, and always happy to do collaborations like this as well.
Good stuff, man. Well, that's going to do it for today. Let's go hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new to it. Every single week, same time, this will come out over the off-season, 16 weeks. So we're going to literally be going throughout the entire off-season. We have other creators like Tommy Casher for the night. We have Antanas here, Parramatta Eels. We've got the NRL Roast. We've got Rugby League Guru, a bit of Emilio de Savage, your mate from bloody TikTok. You know, we've got a heap of guys here for all the different teams, and I'm very much looking forward for you guys to see all these different teams. And I'm having so much fun doing all these drafts. It is a lot of fun for me as well. But that's the whole point of this. Having fun, living your passion, and not letting anybody tell you that you can't do something. Also, don't forget, you've got to go and check out BKR Sport on Instagram, because that's where we're going to be posting all the polling and the voting. You have to go there to vote which team you think is best. Please vote which team is best. Don't vote just because you follow a certain creator. Please vote the best team in your personal opinion. And then at the end of all this series, I'll do a video where I'm going to compile the voting of all the different teams and see who won in each. But I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.